Every man and woman in life in our world is defined not by their name or the family they belong to. They are defined by their action. They are defined by the characteristics they possess. When a person comes to be a great individual in history, you find that person possessing different types of traits, characteristics, values that elevates that individual to become a great person. And of course, on the other hand, we have people that are not worthy of mentioning because of their characteristics, or because what defines them is their deviant actions. They were not for God. They didn't do anything that pleased Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They didn't invest anything that gets them to become a greater human beings. When it comes to the infallibles, of course we have 124,000 prophets. In addition to that, we have the 14 ma'sumin, the 14 infallibles. Alongside to the 14 infallibles, we have the ones that dedicated their lives to these 14 infallibles. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of what they did, Allah elevated them and they became this great man and woman. And we have many of them mentioned in the books, many of these companions, family members, that when you go through the pages of the traditions of the Hadith, Bahar al-Anwar, Usul al-Kaf, or any other books, you see this person was a devoted person. Therefore, of what they did, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written their name in history. That you mention them where you mention Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salati was salam, because of their investment, not sacrifice. Sacrifice is a word that we use in this majalis. We say such and such sacrificed for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not a sacrifice, it's an investment. It's an investment that these people invested in this religion. For example, al-Mu'mineen Khadija bint Khuwaylid. This woman, she invested in the religion of Islam. Therefore, when you mention Islam, when you mention Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's name, you alongside with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you mention al-Mu'mineen Khadija bint Khuwaylid. And you mention her, what? Investment. She gave everything she had for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why we say that ما بني الإسلام إلا بمال خديجة وسيف علي بن أبي طالب عليه أفضل الصلاة والسلام. Now to understand the lady that we are commemorating her death in this night, and that is Baneen Fatima bint Hizam al-Kilabiyya, or bint Huzam al-Kilabiyya, or bint Huram al-Kilabiyya. There's different narrations mentioning her father's name differently. Anyway, when you mention this lady, you see that this lady is an example of what? Loyalty, sincerity, devotion. This lady, she knew the merits of Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salati was salam, and alongside with knowing the merits of Ahlul Bayt, she was a woman of action. She did something in that regard, because when many people until today in the 21st century, you have people saying that we love Ahlul Bayt, but when it comes to them to do one thing for Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salati was salam, to spend at least one day of their life for Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salati was salam, you see, for them it's very hard to do so. But this lady Baneen Fatima bint Huzam al-Kilabiyya alayha afdalus salati was salam, before her birth, you see that this lady is about to become a great lady. To what extent you find that her father, Huzam, he sees in his dream, and this is before Baneen's birth. He sees in his dream that he's holding this valuable gem in his hand. And that gem is shining. And he's flipping it right to left and he's looking at it and he's admiring this gem. Her father is mentioning this, Huzam. He says, while I was doing that, admiring this gem, I saw a rider coming toward me, a warrior, riding a horse. He came near me and he said to me, would you sell that gem to me? I said to him, I don't know the value of this gem. I don't know how much to sell it for. To which he replied, he said, this gem will belong in the days to come to a great man, the greatest of them all. And he knows what to do with this gem. He knows the value of this gem. Days passed, one day after the other passed. Lady Fatima bint Huzam al-Kilabiyya, she's born in this household. The household of al-Kilab or al-Kilabiyya, before the birth of Fatima bint Huzam al-Kilabiyya, al-Baneen, was known for their courage and bravery. For example, Huzam, the father of al-Baneen, his uncle was one of the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he even married from this tribe, Al-Kilabi, the tribe of Al-Kilab. And they were known for bravery, courage. That is why when it comes to Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi afdalus salati was salam, after the martyrdom of Lady Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha, Amir al-Mu'mineen married many women. Altogether, Amir al-Mu'mineen had 9 wives in total. And if you look at the numbers of children that Amir al-Mu'mineen had, in total 27 sons and daughters. 27. Of course, the first being born from the household of Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha and Amir al-Mu'mineen are the Imams, Imam al-Hassan and Imam al-Hussain, the Prince Imam al-Hassan and the Prince Imam al-Hussain. And then comes Lady Zainab salamullahi alayha, Aqilat al-Talibiyin, and then of course Kulthum. But after the death, the martyrdom of Lady Fatima al-Zahra, Sayyid Nisa al-Alameen, Amir al-Mu'mineen married other women. One of them was this woman. But the approach of Amir al-Mu'mineen, looking for the right woman, is very important, especially for us in this time and age, when you find many of the youth are looking for a spouse, looking for a woman to marry. They're looking for a husband to marry from both sides. They are looking for a soulmate, that person can help them. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi afdalus salati was salam, he comes to his brother Aqil and he says to Aqil, انظر لي, see for me, انظر لي امرأة قد ولدتها الفحولة من العرب. Why you looking for such a woman? لأتزوجها فتلد لي غلاما فارسا شجاعا ينصر ولدي الحسين بكربلاء ويواسيه. Now Imam Ali, Amir al-Mu'mineen, he knew all the knowledge. He knew the people, didn't he? قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أنا مدينة العلم وعلي بابها فمن أراد المدينة والحكمة فليأتها من بابها سلوني قبل أن تفقدوني. Imam Ali knew all of this knowledge, but why does he come and he asks this question from his brother Aqil? Because Aqil, وكان عقيل نسابة العرب, He knew about the tribes of the Arabs. He knew their characteristics or their values, their traditions. He knew them. That this tribe is known for bravery. This tribe is known for giving out alms. This tribe is known for generosity. This tribe is known for such and such. Here, you learn this lesson from Imam Ali. Even though he had all this knowledge, he respects the expertise of his brother Aqil, because he knew of genealogy. He knew about the tribes. He comes to Aqil. And that teaches us a lesson when it comes to looking for a woman, for a wife, or of course for the woman looking for a husband. There has to be this back and forth between you and another person who is older than you, who has seen life, who has experienced life. They know something that you don't know. Even though Amir al-Mu'mineen has all the knowledge, he comes to Aqil and he says to him, "Oh brother, I'm looking for a woman that comes from a brave family, from a courageous family. That for what I'm looking for this? What is the reason behind it? That she can give me a son, تلد لي ولدا, that this son can be فارسا شجاعا, that this son can help my son Hussein in Karbala." There is a goal behind it. There is a reason behind it. So Imam Ali is not just looking for a wife. He's looking for a woman that can be a mother. Mother to children that can devote their life to Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalu salati wassalam. That can devote their life to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is very important. That the woman that you look for, she has to come from a family that this family is known for some good merits, some good traits. They have characteristics that defines his family to be great family. And Imam Ali here teaches us this lesson. So, this is one, that Imam Ali, this all-knowing Imam, he asks his brother Aqil, "Give me an advice. Who do you think is right for me? Who do you think is right?" That's one thing that we should ask before we embark on this journey, looking for a woman, looking for a wife, for of course for the ladies looking for a husband. There has to be a reason. See, Imam Ali, he says that I'm looking for that woman that can give me a child. But today, if you look in the today's society, in the community today, last year there was 49,510 divorces, 1.9% increase from 2019. This year, divorces, unfortunately, every year when we enter the new year, you see divorces numbers, they rise more than marriages. Why? Many reasons. One of the reasons, we don't want to go through all the reasons, but one of the reasons of a divorce is that we don't know the huquq, the rights of one another. The only thing that is on the mind of the father of the bride and the father of the husband-to-be is how much is the dowry? What kind of accommodation are they going to live in? What kind of transportation they're going to be sitting in, going back and forth? Is there going to be any allowance coming from him? We forget about what is important. When was the last time you saw a marriage that both sides, male and female, the husband-to-be and the bride-to-be, both of them, the wife and the husband, that are embarking on this journey, they know the huquq of one another. Huquq. Huquq is what? Rights. Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi afdalu salati wassalam has a book of rights, the Charter of Rights. 51 rights Imam Zayn al-Abidin goes through them. حق الله, حق العين, حق الفرج, حق أمك, حق أبيك. And the Imam goes through 51 rights. But unfortunately today, let's just get them married, put them in one house and let's see what happens. That's not right. They have to be prepared for what's about to come. That honeymoon phase is not going to last for 1, 2, 3, 4 years. It's for a couple of months, and that honeymoon phase, it will turn into vinegar. And you see the mess they go through because both of them, they're not educated. They have no idea how they should conduct business. When I say conduct business, how to talk with one another. What is his right? What's my right? For example, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions the right of the woman. He says the right of the woman that you give her accommodation, that you feed her, that you respect her. That you respect her. This is some of it. This is the tip of the iceberg. There is more that comes to the rights of the both parties. But if they don't know it, you see, every day there's a phone call. I have a problem with my husband. I have a problem with my wife. I don't trust her. I don't trust him. Because both sides that have no idea what is the importance of this marriage and establishing a family, because you are investing in the greatest investment you can think of, and that is a family. When the two are not educated, what happens then? What happens then? There is a 99% chance this will end up in divorce. If they're lucky, if there is help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they ask for the help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they can fix it up a bit. But if they don't, of course, eventually this will end up in what? Divorce. And don't be surprised to hear this fulan and that fulan, this individual, that individual has gone into divorce. Amir al-Mu'minin says that I'm looking for a woman that can give me birth to a son. So he's looking for a woman that can be a mother. What does that teach you? Again, when it comes to the sayings of Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salati was salam, there is lessons that you can derive from it. That I'm not looking for a woman that I can go to my honeymoon, I can be her friend, and we can go to different restaurants and then travel the world. No. This woman, tomorrow she will give birth, and this woman is a mother that can raise the children in the right way. So of course Aqil comes and says what? تزوج بنت حزام الكلابية فإنه ليس في العرب أشجع من أباها. And here he recommended who? This family. Amir al-Mu'minin here, he asks Aqil, he says to Aqil, Ya Aqil, oh brother. And Aqil is elder than Amir al-Mu'minin, he's older than Amir al-Mu'minin. I have another request. If you can go to this family, and for me propose to them, ask for this family's hand for this woman. Aqil goes to this tribe. He stays there for 3 days. You know, the traditions of the Arab, the customs of the Arab is that they give you accommodation, they take you as a guest for 3 days, and then don't ask you any questions. They let you be. You're free there for 3 days to, take off that tiredness of the travel, and then if you want to, you can talk about why you were there. If not, it's up to you. So, the mother of Fatima bint Huzam al-Kilabiyya, she comes to her husband Huzam, and she says to him, is Aqil here? Is he asking for something? Looks like it's very important. Huzam says it might be that his brother Amir al-Mu'minin, Ali ibn Abi Talib, needs some help, reinforcement. He needs some soldiers. To which he replies, if it was that, he wouldn't be staying here for 3 days. He will come on the first day, he says what his brother wants, if it's that you think of. And that is this. So they wait until Aqil, he opens the topic. Aqil alayhi salam comes to Huzam, and he says to Huzam, I'm here asking for your daughter. For who? For Amir al-Mu'minin. For Ali, my brother. What do you think of that? Huzam looks at him and he says, this will be an honor for us to serve your brother Ali. Let me go ask the mother and the daughter. Let's see what they say. So he comes to Fatima bint Huzam al-Kilabiyya and he says to this lady, Baneen, Salamullahi alayha, this is the reason they're here. Aqil is here to ask that you will be the new bride of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib. To which she replies, she says, "Oh father, I saw in my dream." There was a dream of Huzam himself that we spoke about, the jinn. And here there's another dream. This is the dream of the awliya Allah. This is not the dream of someone like me. This is a dream of awliya Allah. There is a meaning behind it. al-Baneen, Fatima, she says, I saw in my dream, I was in paradise. I was admiring the trees and the flowers and the nature and the skies. Suddenly I saw that the moon is coming toward me. Came closer and closer and closer and sat in my lap. Next to the moon, 3 stars also came and they joined this moon. Referring to who? Referring to the sun that is about to come. And that is why Abu al-Fadl alayhi afdalus salati was salam is known as Qamar Bani Hashim. Moon of Bani Hashim, of the Hashemites. I saw the moon and I saw these 3 stars coming into my lap. Of course, I agree to this. So listen to what Huzam said. Huzam comes to Aqil and he says to Aqil, قد رضينا لابنتنا خادمة لأمير المؤمنين. خادمة لأمير المؤمنين. They know who Ali is. They don't speak about her beauty. They don't speak about her physiques, what kind of a person this person was. But al-Baneen, Fatima bint Huzam al-Kilabiyya, was this beautiful woman that on her wedding night, when Amir al-Mu'mineen saw her for the first time, listen to this, he didn't spend years and years going back and forth with her, messaging her, traveling with her. I want to find out what kind of person this person is, because today, unfortunately, he is from the young man and woman. For us to get married, we have to know one another. So what do we do? We have to travel, we have to message each other, and there is no halal. You just back and forth, just for a reason for me to know the other side, the other person. Imam Ali, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Qali' Bab Khaybar, he sees Lady Fatima bint Huzam al-Kilabiyya for the first time. And he sees that this woman is a gorgeous woman, MashaAllah. So Amir al-Mu'mineen, on his wedding night, when he takes her to his house, she stands outside of the house. And she says to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, I would not go into your house until I can speak with your sons and your daughters. أكلم الحسن والحسين زينب وأم كلثوم. I want to speak with them. No problem, speak with them. So the 4 come, and she says to them at the doorstep, she says, I will not go inside until I speak to them. And here, this lady, she says to them, Ya Sadati, أتقبلونني خادم عندكم? I'm not here to take the place of your mother Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha. I'm here to do what? I'm here to serve you. Khadim, I want to be your servant. The woman knows who Ahl al-Bayt are. She knows that. أتقبلونني خادم عندكم? So I can serve you. To which Imam al-Hasan al-Mujtaba, he looks at her and he says to her, فقال لها الإمام الحسن المجتبى عليه أفضل الصلاة والسلام كريم أهل البيت أنت عزيزة مكرمة تفضلي على بركة الله. This is your house. Come inside of it. Come. This lady comes inside this house. If you want to understand who this lady is, you have to understand what she did in this house. The first thing she did was, after a couple of days living in this house, she comes to Amir al-Mu'mineen and she never addressed him as Ya Ali. Even though Amir al-Mu'mineen is her husband, she comes to him, Ya Sayyidi, Ya Mawlai, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. That's how she addresses Amir al-Mu'mineen. That's how she talks to Imam Ali, alayhi afdal salati wassalam. I have a request from you. Li talabun lak. I have a request. I'm your wife. I have this request. He says to her, what do you want? Your request is my wish. Your wish is mine to be granted from me. What is it that you're looking for? She says to him, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, don't refer to me as Fatima anymore. Don't call me Fatima. Why? Isn't Fatima a beautiful name? She says, definitely Fatima is a beautiful name. Fatima is a name of the daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Sayyidat Nisa al-Alameen. I was named after her. And it's my honor to be named after the only daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Then why you don't want me to call you by your name, Ya Fatima? She says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, every time I hear you call me the name of Fatima, I see the faces of Hassan and Hussein, Lady Zainab and Kulthum. And I see them remembering their mother, Fatima Zahra salamullahi alayha. So don't call me by that name. What do you want me to refer to you right now? What is it that you want me to call you as? Call me as Baneen, meaning the mother of the children. Don't call me Fatima. Call me Baneen. Now, she has a child. The first one, Qamar Bani Hashim, Abul Fadl Abbas. And then she has Abdullah. And then she has Ja'far. And then she has Uthman. 4 of them. These 4. If you look at the saga of Karbala, the events of the day of Ashura, the other three, these 3 of them, the brothers, Nujum, stars that she saw in her dream, they came and they fought for Imam al-Hussein, Sayyid al-Shuhada. By the order of the brother Abu al-Fadl Abbas, he said to them, go so I can see you giving your life to the son of Fatima, to the son of the Prophet. These 3 came. One of them, and that was Uthman, it is narrated that he was standing next to the tent. And here he asked Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, Sayyid al-Shuhada, he said to him, Sayyidi wa Mawlai, can you give me permission to go and fight? At that time, the enemy combatants, they shot arrows. And just imagine 30,000, another tradition says 40,000 enemy combatants that surrendered the Imam from every side. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi afdal salati wassalam says that the enemy combatants were surrounding my grandfather Hussein like the ring, your ring surrounds the finger on your hand from every side. And we're talking about 30, 40,000. And even in some traditions, we have that Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, he sent another 70,000 enemy combatant soldiers, and they were waiting at the borders of Karbala for the message from Umar ibn Sa'd if he needs any reinforcements. So Uthman is standing there next to Imam al-Hussein alayhi afdal salati wassalam. He doesn't say to him, Ya Akhi, Ya Aba Abdullah. He says to him, Ya Sayyidi wa Mawlai. Do you give me permission to go and fight? At that time, the arrows are shot, and it comes like what? It comes like rain toward them. And then he looks to him, Imam al-Hussein, he looks at Uthman, he says to him, brother, don't you see the arrows? Don't you see the army? You want to see what he says. He said, for you, oh brother, I have one regret, and that is this, that I don't have more than one life to give for you. I have only one. And that is for you. And my only regret is that there's nothing else that I can give you that is more dearer to me. This is the only thing I have that is the dearest. And there is only one life. For them to shoot arrows or fight us with spears or with swords, it doesn't make any difference. This is one of the brothers of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. So what does this lady do? Number one, don't call me by the name of Fatima, because I see the faces of Fatima al-Zahra's sons being saddened. They see me and they hear the name and they remember Fatima al-Zahra, their mother. That's number one. Number two, when she has children, these four, she raises them as you are the sons of Ali. You are the sons of Baneen, but they are the sons of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. So your life is for them. You have to be devoted to them. Invest whatever you have for them. As I said, sacrifice is not the right word. Invest whatever you have for them. So she teaches them from that young age that give whatever you have to make them happy, to please them. The sons of Fatima, the sons of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. That's number one. Number two, don't dare call them by their first name. Don't do that. Call them, refer to them as Sayyidi, Sayyidati. Sayyidi, Sayyidati. Qamar Bani Hashim Abu al-Fadl Abbas alayhi afdalus salati wassalam. Not that he didn't just call Imam al-Hussein Sayyidi. Even his sister Zainab, he always called her as Sayyidati. He never referred to her as Zainab or Ukhta. The only place that is narrated he called Imam al-Hussein by referring to him as Akhah is when he fell from his horse. Here he says, Ya Akhah adrikni, Ya Aba Abdullah adrikni. That was it. No other place. It was only Sayyidi, Sayyidati. Very important, you find that she was a mother who raised them in the right path. You devote yourself to them. You don't call them by their first name. When you read in the Quran al-Kareem, there is an ayah in the Quran that talks about sincerity. We recite this ayah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. What does that mean? What does it mean? There's not only my salah and my siyam for Allah. I'm not just sincere with that. Everything I do, salati, wa nusuki, wa mahyaya, wa mamati lillahi rabbil alamin. That everything I do is I do for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So who is the greatest example after looking in the books, the narrations in regards to the infallibles, when you come out of the infallible circle, who is the best that teaches you the meaning of sincerity, of devotion, of loyalty? Lady al-Baneen salamullahi alayha. When you recite this ayah, you see, yes, قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَاي وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. She's the great example of that. She's a great example of that. That she raises these warriors. If you look at the saga of Karbala, at the events of Ashura, and what happened to Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi. Imam al-Hussein, whenever there was asking for permission to go and fight from any of his companions, any of his family members, there was this back and forth between the Imam and them. There was this conversation. When he came to Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, the Imam did a couple of things that he didn't do with anyone else. Number one, when he came and he asked permission for Imam al-Hussein. So for you to understand who Lady al-Baneen is, you have to understand who Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas is. Okay? Because he's a product from that. For us to understand A company, you have to understand the product of a company. For example, when Sony was established in Japan, the founder of Sony, you know what he said? He said, I want to, and this is my goal, I want to have a company that whoever talks about quality, they mention our name. Not quality of Japan, not quality of Sony, but quality of Japan. See the idea behind it? That when you see a product, you say, this is made in Japan. Because of its quality, until today, whoever sees a Japanese product, whatever that is, a car or any other thing, you say this is a good product because it's coming from there. That was the idea behind it. Now, the two are married, the two having children, they have 4 children. And in another hadith, we have a hadith that mentions that lady, Baneen, had 4 sons and 1 daughter by the name of Ruqayya bint Ali. And she's buried now in Qahira. But the 4, we know them. We know these 4, the 4 warriors. So for us to understand more of this lady, we have to understand her sons, especially this man, Abu al-Fadl Abbas. He comes to Imam al-Hussein and says, Sayyidi wa Mawlai, you give me permission to go and fight. Imam al-Hussein looks at him and he says to him, oh brother, anta sahibu liwai. You're the bearer of my banner. If you go fight and you killed, who do I have left from my army? The Imam says, min jayshi. This is when Imam had no one left. There was no other soldier. It was only him and Abu Fadl Abbas and Abdullah al-Radi'. Anta sahibu liwai. How could I let you go? I can't. Ya akha, no. He came again and he said, oh brother, let me go. And here he heard that, al-atash, from the children in the camp. He said, if you want to go and get me some water for them. The hadith says that Abu Fadl Abbas, before the day of Ashura, he went to the Euphrates and he got water from there more than once. When we recite in the poem, we said, عبست وجوه القوم والعباس فيهم ضاحك مستبشر. Abu al-Fadl Abbas, he's the son of Qali' Bab Khaybar. Abu al-Fadl Abbas, salamullahi alayhi, Qamar Bani Hashim, he's the son of the killer of Marhab. He's the son of the killer of Amr. So when he charges into the army, the hadith says that the Euphrates was surrounded by 4,000 enemy combatants surrounding the Euphrates, guarding it from anyone coming into it. Abu al-Fadl Abbas comes into the Euphrates and he opens this 4,000 into 2. And easily he gets into it. So when he comes and he asks permission from Imam al-Hussein, number 1, he says, you are the bearer of my banner. Anta sahibu liwai. That's 1. Number 2, brothers and sisters, and this breaks my heart to mention this, but you have to understand that this is the product of al-Baneen. This is the product of al-Baneen. He was born just for this. He is devoted to Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi. Imam al-Hussein, you know, the biggest tragedy of Karbala is many things. We recite this every Muharram. We mention such and such. One of the greatest tragedies of Karbala, in my opinion, is the crying of Imam al-Hussein. Buka Imam al-Hussein. This is a big tragedy for Imam al-Hussein, Hujjatullah, to cry. And Imam al-Hussein alayhi afdalus salati was salam, he did this with his brother. Before we go to that, when he fell to the ground on Karbala, Abu al-Fadl Abbas, he screamed, he said, Ya akhah, ya Aba Abdullah adrikni. That was the only place. So Imam al-Hussein, the hadith says, he came to him like a lion. He came to him like a lion. And then the Imam, he didn't do this with any other person. Not companions, no family members. He ran after the enemy combatants, Imam al-Hussein. After what he saw, they did to his brother Abu al-Fadl Abbas, cutting his right and left arm. And when he saw them running away, he screamed, أين تفرون وقد قتلتم أخي. Huh? You see the brotherly love? You don't see it any other place. أين تفرون وقد قتلتم أخي. Huh? أين تفرون وقد قتلتم عضدي. That's one. In another one, you see after he finished his conversation with Abu al-Fadl Abbas, that he refused to put his head in Imam's lap and he took it off, and whatever happened then happened then. He got up and he went to the camp and he says, وَرَجَعَ إِلَى الْخَيْمَةِ Imam al-Hussein وَهُوَ يُكَفْكِفُ دُمُوعَهُ بِكُمِّهِ. Where do you see this? Where do you see this in Karbala? Except for Imam al-Hussein and his brother Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. When she hears this, lady Baneen alayha afdalus salati was salam, the news of the martyrdom of the four, before Bishr ibn Hadlam says to her that Hussein also was killed, because she says to him, I'm not asking about my sons, I'm asking about Hussein. Where is Hussein? How is Hussein? And when he says to her, these four died, she says that everyone dying for Hussein is nothing. It's for Imam al-Hussein is nothing. From her you learn devotion. From her you learn loyalty. From her you learn sincerity. This woman, Bab al-Hawaij, Baneen alayha afdalus salati was salam. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. In her honor together we recite the salam of Imam al-Hussein. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى أخته العقيلة عقيلة الطالبيين السيدة زينب الكبرى وأخيه أبا الفضل العباس ورحمة الله وبركاته. يا مفيد يا غفور يا ودود، اغننا بحلالك عن حرامك وبطاعتك عن معصيتك وبفضلك عمن سواك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. الفاتحة، قبلها الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. ثانيا، غفر الله لكم. لتعجيل في فرج مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان وقضاء الحوائج وشفاء المرضى. الثالثة، بأعلى أصواتكم. نتوجه إلى زيارة سيدنا ومولانا أبا عبد الله الحسين عليه السلام. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا خيرة الله وابن خيرته، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوصيين، السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والوتر الموتور. السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار. يا أبا عبد الله، لقد عظمت الرزية وجلت وعظمت المصيبة بك علينا وعلى جميع أهل الإسلام، وجلت وعظمت مصيبتك في السماوات على جميع أهل السماوات. فلعن الله أمة أسست أساس الظلم والجور عليكم أهل البيت، ولعن الله أمة دفعتكم عن مقامكم وأزالتكم عن مراتبكم التي رتبكم الله فيها، ولعن الله أمة قتلتكم، ولعن الله الممهدين لهم بالتمكين من قتالكم. برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم ومن أشياعهم وأتباعهم وأوليائهم. يا أبا عبد الله، إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم إلى يوم القيامة. ولعن الله آل زياد وآل مروان، ولعن الله بني أمية قاطبة، ولعن الله ابن مرجانه، ولعن الله عمر بن سعد، ولعن الله شمرا، ولعن الله أمة أسرجت وألجمت وتنقبت لقتالك. بأبي أنت وأمي لقد عظم مصابي بك، فأسأل الله الذي أكرم مقامك وأكرمني بك أن يرزقني طلب ثارك مع إمام منصور من أهل بيت محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم اجعلني عندك وجيها بالحسين عليه السلام في الدنيا والآخرة. يا أبا عبد الله، إني أتقرب إلى الله وإلى رسوله وإلى أمير المؤمنين وإلى فاطمة وإلى الحسن وإليك بموالاتك وبالبراءة ممن قاتلك ونصب لك الحرب، وبالبراءة ممن أسس أساس الظلم والجور عليكم. وأبرأ إلى الله وإلى رسوله ممن أسس أساس ذلك وبنى عليه بنيانه وجرى في ظلمه وجوره عليكم وعلى أشياعكم. برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم، وأتقرب إلى الله ثم إليكم بموالاتكم وموالاة وليكم، وبالبراءة من أعدائكم والناصبين لكم الحرب، وبالبراءة من أشياعهم وأتباعهم. إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم وولي لمن والاكم وعدو لمن عاداكم. فأسأل الله الذي أكرمني بمعرفتكم ومعرفة أوليائكم ورزقني البراءة من أعدائكم أن يجعلني معكم في الدنيا والآخرة، وأن يثبت لي عندكم قدم صدق في الدنيا والآخرة. وأسأله أن يبلغني المقام المحمود لكم عند الله، وأن يرزقني طلب ثاره مع إمام هدى ظاهر ناطق بالحق منكم. وأسأل الله بحقكم وبالشأن الذي لكم عنده أن يعطيني بمصابي بكم أفضل ما يعطي مصابا بمصيبته، مصيبة ما أعظمها وأعظم رزيتها في الإسلام وفي جميع السماوات والأرض. اللهم اجعلني في مقامي هذا ممن تناله منك صلوات ورحمة ومغفرة. اللهم اجعل محياي محيا محمد وآل محمد، ومماتي ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إن هذا يوم تبركت به بنو أمية وابن آكلة الأكباد اللعين ابن اللعين على لسانك ولسان نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله. في كل موطن وموقف وقف فيه نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم لعن أبا سفيان ومعاوية ويزيد بن معاوية عليهم منك اللعنة أبد الآبدين. وهذا يوم فرحت به آل زياد وآل مروان بقتلهم الحسين صلوات الله عليه. اللهم فضاعف عليهم اللعنة منك والعذاب الأليم. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك في هذا اليوم وفي موقفي هذا وأيام حياتي بالبراءة منهم واللعنة عليهم وبالموالاة لنبيك وآل نبيك عليه وعليهم السلام. اللهم لعن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم لعن العصابة التي جاهدت الحسين عليه السلام وشايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتله. اللهم لعنهم جميعا. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. اللهم خص أنت أول ظالم باللعن مني وابدأ به أولا ثم الثانية والثالثة والرابع. اللهم لعن يزيد خامسة والعن عبيد الله بن زياد وابن مرجان وعمر بن سعد وشمراه وآل أبي سفيان وآل زياد وآل مروان إلى يوم القيامة. سجود. اللهم لك الحمد حمد الشاكرين لك على مصابهم، الحمد لله على عظيم رزيتي. اللهم ارزقني شفاعة الحسين يوم الورود إن شاء الله، وثبت لي قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين وأصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا مهجهم دون الحسين عليه السلام. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين.